Today we're looking at mathematics IGCSE May June 2023 paper 4-2. So today we're looking at the part 3. We're going to do the part 3. Part 1 we looked at question 1 to 3. Part 2 we look at question 4 to question 7. Part 3 we'll be looking at question 8 to the end. So without much ado, let's begin the part 3. Okay? So part 3, from question number 8. Okay? Okay, so we're good to go. Now the first question in part 3 says, question 8a, it says, Roman figure 1, it says, show that the equation y into x minus 4 in one bracket, s plus y in another bracket, and x minus 2 in a third bracket can be written as this. So we should show that can be written as this. Can be written as this. So there's no big deal about this. It's just to expand. First, you take the first two, you expand the first two, you get a polynomial, and then whatever you get for the first two, you come and expand with this one as the third one. Okay, so we take the first two, we do the expansion with the first two, and then afterwards, whatever we get after expanding these first two, whatever we get, we also use it to multiply the third bracket. So we start with the first one. You have x minus 4 in one bracket and x plus y in another bracket. So we multiply. We take the first x, we say x multiplied by x, we get x squared. And then we say this same x multiplied by 1, we get x. X multiplied by 1, we get x. Then we're done with using this x to multiply these two brackets, these two things inside this bracket. Now we take this second negative 4 to multiply everything inside the bracket. So we say negative 4 times x, we get negative 4x. We're going to get negative 4x. This is what we written here, negative 4x. Now you say negative 4 times plus 1, you get negative 4. 4 times 1 is negative 4. So you write negative 4. So we collect like terms, you can see plus x minus 4x. So we still have to simplify this a little bit. So we write down x squared, this x squared, minus plus 4x minus 3, plus x minus 4x will give you minus 3x. It's like you have 1 ringgit, you owe someone 4 ringgit. You have $1, you are owing someone $4. So if you pay the person with the $1 that you have, you're still owing him $3. Okay, so that's what this connotes, what it represents. So you say plus x minus 4x, you will get negative 3x. Then you bring this negative 4. So you've expanded these two. You got 3 terms. You've expanded these two. Now you bring this last one, you bring it here. You bring it here to multiply again together with this. Now this time around, since this is 3 terms, we take this x to multiply all the 3 terms, and we take negative 2 to multiply all the 3 terms. So we start with x. X times s squared, you get x to the power of 3. Remember, this is power 1. This one has power 1. Okay, even if we don't write it. So x, this is indices. X to the power of 2 multiplied by x to the power of 1, it becomes x to the power of 3. So that's how we got this. And then we take this one again, x multiplied by minus 3x, we get negative 3x squared. We get negative 3x squared. This one times this second one here, we get negative 3x squared, because x times x is x squared. Then we say this same x multiplied by negative 4, you get negative 4x. So we've used only x to multiply all this one. We've got the first 3 terms. Now we're going to take negative 2 to multiply everything inside here to get the next 3 terms. So negative 2 times x squared, you're going to get negative 2x squared. You're going to get negative 2x squared. Then you say negative 2 again, multiplied by negative 3x. Negative 2 times negative 3, it becomes positive 6. Please take note of that. Negative 2 times negative 3x, you get plus 6x. You get plus 6x. Then the last one, negative 2 multiplied by negative 4, you get positive. Negative, when you multiply them, you get positive. So negative 2 multiplied by negative 4 multiplied by negative 2, you get positive 8. That's how we got positive in this last two, because negative is being multiplied by negative. So we get this one. So now the next is to collect like terms. We have only one s cubed, so you write only that one s cubed. The next one, you look at the ones that have s squared, they follow. You arrange them next to each other. Minus 3x squared, look, we also have minus 2s squared. Okay, the sign will not change because you're not bringing it from another side. They are all on one side. Okay, don't say, oh, this one, when you bring it close to this one, the sign changed to plus. No, it's not crossing equality sign. It's when you cross the equality sign, where something is coming from the right side to the left side, that the sign changes. This one is only one side. They are all on one side. Only y is on the left. All of them are all on the right. So even if you bring this one close to this one, it doesn't mean the this negative will change to positive. So we have minus 3s squared. You bring this one close to it, minus 2s squared. So you brought the square, the x squared, this one, the x squared, this one, and this one next to each other, because you have to arrange power to power next to each other. Then the next one, minus 4x and x, the one that has 4x and 6x, they are next to each other. So you write minus 4x plus 6x next to each other, and then before you put plus 8. So you can see they are still the same number of terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are all 6 terms. Then the next thing, you see which one you can add, which one you can subtract. You still write this one down, x to the power of 3. Now you have minus 3s squared, minus 2s squared. It's going to be minus 5s squared. You know why? It's like, let's say for example, you have 3 apple, or you are owing someone, one of your friends, 3 apples. You are owing another of your friend 2 apples. How many apples are you owing? You are owing 5 apples altogether. So let's assume s squared is apple. Let's assume s squared is apple. So minus 3x squared minus 2x squared, you get negative 5x squared. Okay, so we resolve this one. The next one is to resolve this one, the one that has only power x, and x to power 1. That's the next one to resolve. So minus 4x plus 6x minus 4. It's like you are owing someone 4 oranges, and you eventually got 6 oranges. If you pay the person, you have only 2 left with yourself. That's why it's plus 2x. You have 2x left with yourself, then plus 8, which is that. So this is the expansion. They say we should show that this one can be written as this. Now if you compare this one to this, you see that you have solved the problem. You see that you have solved the problem. You'll be able to expand it. So you get your 2 marks for being able to do this. Now let's go to the B. The B question says on the graph, sketch on the diagram, sketch the graph of y equal to x to the power of 3 minus 5s squared plus 2x plus 8, indicating the values where the graph crosses the axis. Okay, here anytime they say you should sketch a graph, please you use these ones, okay, because these are the roots. These are the roots of the equation. Because each of these one is like you equate to 0. For example, here you have x minus 4 equal to 0. You say x minus 4 equal to 0, right? X minus 4 equal to 0. So if you bring 4 here, x will be equal to 4. X will be equal, if you bring it to this side, so x will be equal to 4. So one of the roots is positive 4. So we can tick here. The line graph will pass here. Okay? Then you bring the other one, x plus 1, right? The next one is x plus 1. You can equate it to 0. So you can say this one, x plus 1 equal to 0. X plus 1 equal to 0. Okay? We equate y to 0. X plus 1 equal to 0. And then x will be equal to negative 1. X will be equal to negative what? 1. Because if you move this one to this side, it becomes negative 1. S equal to negative 1. So one of the root is negative 1. So you come to the, this one is my sketch. It looks like pencil. It's my sketch, okay? They just gave us a play graph, okay? And then I sketch this one. And one of the root is negative 1. So you come and mark this place. One of your line is going to pass through this one. One of your line is going to pass through this one. Okay, another one is another root. There are 3 roots because it's a cubic equation. Cubic equation has 3 roots. If the highest power is 2, it's quadratic. Quadratic has 2 roots. Cubic has 3 roots. So we get the third one, x minus 2 equal to 0. So the third one is x minus 2 equal to 0. So if you bring 2 to the right, then you get x equal to 2. You get x equal to 2. So x equal to 2. So meaning at s equal to 2, we also go to sketch our graph to pass there. We're also going to sketch our graph to pass there. Okay, now on the y-axis, where you know this 8 is your C, for example, like C, intersect on the y-axis, where the graph will pass on the y-axis, this 8. So it's like your C. So we mark on the y-axis, we mark this point where our curve will pass through. So you sketch the graph. You sketch the graph because a cubic graph, you already know, you study cubic graph, you already know the way it looks like. So all you need to know is to know this point, and this one, right? So to know these points, this point, and this one. Is that okay? Now, so the next thing to do is to sketch a line from here to pass through 1, on the y-axis to touch 8, and then come down, pass through 2, because 2 is part of the root. Minus y is part of the root, so we start from minus 1. You reach, on the y-axis, you reach 8, and then you bring it down to pass through 2 as another root, and then bring it back to pass through 4, because 4 is part of the root, to pass through 4. So that's your sketch. You do this, you're able to get about 4 marks. You get 4 marks just for being able to do this. Is that okay? Now let's move on to the next question. The B part of the question 8 says that the graph of y equal to x to the power of 3 minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 8 has 2 tangents with a gradient of 10. So they've given us the gradient. They say the gradient is 10. It has 2 tangents. So this graph has 2 tangents, right? 2 tangents, so with a gradient of 10. So it's a find the equation of these 2 tangents. We're going to find 2 equations because they say find equations of these 2 tangents. So to do this, you must show all your working. They say you must show all your working and give your answer in the form of y equals to this. The equation of the line you're going to get, the 2 equations you're going to get, you must put it in the form of equation of a straight line, y equal to mx plus c. You must put it in that format. Remember, we already know that. We already know the gradient. The gradient is 10 for the 2 equations, for the 2 tangential line. The gradient is 10. So we already know the gradient. So we are good to go. However, the first thing we're going to do, because this is a function, gradient is same as dy over dx when you differentiate. Okay, the differentiation function, you have to also revise it. You have to revise it so that you'll be able to do this when it's necessary. Okay, you can check differentiation videos in waidusmacademy. Okay, check differentiation video in waidusmacademy. You know how to do differentiation fraction. But in the light of this question, let's see. The first thing, because you know gradient, this gradient, you remember this gradient that you learned in the lower grade in coordinate geometry. In coordinate geometry, you learn gradient to be y2 minus y1, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1. This gradient is same as dy over dx. Okay, this connotation, this writing is same as saying, this is same as saying change in y, which is dy, over change in x, which is dx. Change in y over change in x, dy over dx. Okay, and which we call differentiation, or rate of change, which we call differentiation. Okay, so if we differentiate this one, we will get, it will be equal to our gradient. You equate it to gradient if you differentiate it. If you differentiate it, it's equal to your gradient. So we can say equal to 10. So if I differentiate this function, I will equate it to 10 and I can solve the quadratic. So that's the first thing to do. Dy over dx, you differentiate this one. How do we do the differentiation? You bring the power to be the coefficient, bring this 3 in the power, bring it to the back of x. So you say the power minus 1. So it becomes 3 minus 1. So it becomes power 2. Right? You remember differentiation? If we say y equal to 3, y equal to x to the power of 3, how do you differentiate this? You say the y over the x is equal to what? The y over the x is equal to, you bring this power, whatever power is here, whatever number is here, bring it to the back of the x, of the variable. So it becomes 3x. Sorry, this is 3. You bring it to the back, you bring it here, it becomes 3x Then the power, you go to minus 1. You go to say 3 minus 1. The power, you go to, is the function, is the formula for differentiation, the way to differentiate. So you have 3x, 3 raised to power, 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's how we got this one. So you'll be wondering how this x to the power of 3 became 3x squared. So when you differentiate this one, you get this one. Now let's differentiate the next one. You bring this one to the back. If you bring 2 to the back, it's going to multiply 5. Negative 5. Negative 5 times 2, you get 10. Then this, you subtract 1 in the power. 2 minus 1 is 1. So here is 10x to the power of 1. You know in math, no need to write power 1. So you just write negative 10x. If you differentiate this one, it's going to be only 2. You know why? Because the 1 on top, you bring it to the back, you multiply with 2, it becomes 2. Then this power is 1, right? 1 minus 1 is 0. So you have x to the power of 0. In indices, anything to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Anything to the power of 0 equal to 1. Because you have 1 here, so when you say 1 minus 1, you know the function is to always subtract 1 from that power. 1 minus 1 is 0. And anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 times 2. So the whole of this is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So that's how we got these 2. Now you say, when you differentiate, this differentiation equals to what? The gradient, m. So I'll write this function, and I will equate it to m. I'll write this, we'll write this function, I will equate it to m. So we say 3x squared minus 10x plus 2 equal to 10. What is 10? The m. Remember, they've given us the gradient. They've given us the gradient. The gradient is 10. So we say equal to 10. So you bring 10 to the left side. So it becomes 3x squared minus 10x plus this 2. Then if you bring this 10 here, it becomes minus 10 equal to 0. You always do that so that you can solve the quadratic equation. Okay? So you now have 3x squared minus 10x. Now plus 2 minus 10 will be negative 8. Plus 2 minus 10 is negative 8 equals to 0. So when you reach here, the next thing is to factorize. You can use factorization method, you can use formula method. If you want to use factorization method, remember you say 3 times 8 because this one has a number at the back. If it doesn't have a coefficient, you will just break this 8 down. If this one was only x squared, you break this one, you find the factor of only 8. But since this one has a coefficient, you take whatever coefficient we have here, you use to multiply 8, negative 8, you get negative 24. So you're going to find the factors of negative 24 such that if you multiply them, you get negative 24. If you add them or subtract them, you get negative 10. So those two factors will be what? The two factors will be, I think we just jump, we move straight because we presume you should know. Those two factors will be what? What two numbers if you multiply, you get 24. And if you add them, you get 10. 3 times 8, if you add them, you will never get 10, right? What about 12 and 2? Yes, 12 and 2. Negative 12 and 2. So if we take negative 12 and 2, if you multiply them, you get negative 24. If you add them, you get negative 12 plus 2, you get negative 10. So it will give this second term. If you multiply, it will give this one. If you add them, you get this. So you replace this middle term. You replace this middle term with what? With this negative 12x and 2x. So in place of 10, negative 10x, we're going to replace. So you write this one down, 3x squared minus 12x instead of 10x minus 12x plus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. Now we group. We group this one and this one. We group them. We group. And then we group this one because now we have 4 terms. The reason why we replaced was to get 4 terms, not 3 terms, so that we can factorize. So we replace this one with 2 terms, 2 new terms, and then we're able to group into a pair of 2. This and this together in one group, this and this together in one group. And then we factorize each group. So you find what is common between 3x squared minus 12x. What's common? 3 is common, x is common. So you factorize it out. You take 3x out. What remains here? Only x. What remains here? If you say minus 12 divided by 3x, minus 12x divided by 3x, you get negative 4. So the next one, you factorize this one. What's common between this and this? Only 2 plus 2. You take plus 2 out, you have x. What remains here? Only x. What remains here? By saying negative 8 divided by 2. Negative 8 divided by 2, you get negative 4. So again, these two brackets must be same. This bracket, x minus 4 and x minus 4 must be same. When they are same, you take it as 1. You you take it only one time. You write it only one time, and the one outside bracket, you group them in another bracket. This 3x plus 2, you put them in another bracket. This one that are same in these two brackets, you write it only once. You use the remaining bracket to cover this one outside and this one outside. Okay? So you say equal to 0. Then you equate each one to 0. X minus 4 equal to 0, and 3x plus 2 equal to 0. So you bring this one this way, x equal to 4, and then this one come here, become minus 2, and you divide by 3, you get minus 2 over 3. So you get the two values of x. And that's not all, because this question has 7 marks. This Cambridge question has 7 marks. So you get 2 answers for x. We also have to get 2 answers for y. We also have to get 2 answers for y. So you take the first x value, substitute it to this function, the original function, y equal to this, the original function, the one we differentiated, so that we can get the y value. Put the x, substitute the x value into it, you get the y value. So you come here, the first x is 4. So you bring it here. Instead of say x to the power of 3, you say 4 to the power of 3, minus, instead of say 5x squared, you say minus 4 squared, plus, instead of 2x, you say 2 times 4, then plus 8. So you simplify this, you get y1 is equal to 0, y is 0. Then you take the second value, which is negative 2 over 3, you put it into first of all, you can write these values out. X1 is 4, y1 is 0. Then we continue for the second y. We substitute negative 2 over 3 in place of x. So you have negative 2 over 3 to the power of 3. Substituting into this function, the original function, this function, you have negative 2 over 3 to the power 3. Minus 5, instead of saying minus 5x squared, you say minus 5 into 2 over 3. That's the value of x now. S2 raised to power 2 plus 2 into minus 2 over 3, then plus 8. You just substitute the value, this value, put it in place of x. You simplify, you get 112 over 27. So x2 is negative 2 over 3, and y2 is 112 over 3. You can just say y. I just call them x1, x2, y1, y2. So we can differentiate them. So that's not the end. When you reach here, you got it the 4 variables. You got your first x, second x, first y, second y. Now remember, the question wants us to get what? The equation of the two tangents. Now equation of a line is written as y equal to ms plus c. Right? We know the gradient is 10. The first x, you use the first x value and the first y value, which is 0. So the first y value is 0. You put it in this place because we want to find c. If you don't find c, you will not be able to get the equation of a straight line. If you don't find c, you will not be able to get the equation of a straight line. If you don't find c, you know. So you use the equation of y equal to ms plus c. We use the equation of y equal to mx plus c to find the value of c. Okay? We use the equation of y equal to ms plus c to find the value of c. So the first y1, remember y1, y1 is 0. Look at it here. You take the first y, you put it here, 0. You put 10 for the gradient. They've told us the gradient, the tangent. The gradient of the tangent is 10. You put 10 here. X1 is 4. Remember, x1 is 4. You take it from here. You put here. You say plus c. So you say 0 equals to this times this, you get 40. 0 equals to 40 plus c. So you move the 40 to this side. Okay, it becomes c equals to negative 40. So once you get c equal to negative 40, you come back to this same equation, y equal to ms plus c. You write your y down equal to your m is what? 10. You say 10x, and you got to your c, you say minus 40. This is your first equation of the straight line, of the tangent. The first equation of the tangent. Now we use this one, the second values for x and y, to get our c2, and then we substitute equal to the equation of the straight line, y equal to ms, then we get the second tangent. Now let's get the c2 first, the second c. So we say y2 equals to mx plus c. So y2, what did we get? 112 over 27. You write it down. Is equals to 10. The gradient is 10. Into what's x2 minus 2 over 3. Then plus c. So if you multiply this, you get 20, negative 20, right? Okay, once straight away I brought it this way. Here you get negative 20 over 3. But if you bring it to this side, it becomes positive. 112 over 27 plus 20 over 3 equal to C. So if you do this arithmetic, this fraction, you get 292 over 27 for your C. You get your C to be this value, right? Now you substitute, once you get your C, you come and put the value here. You already, only C and M, you substitute it to the equation of the straight line. M is 10, you put it there, you say 10x. You write your Y equal to 10x plus your C2, the second C. So you get your second equation. So you can see why they say 7 marks for this question. Now what this type of question, if you're unable to do them, you lost a lot. You lost a lot. Because 7 marks can be a whole question marks. Like 1A, 1B, 1C, everything can be 7. So just this question 8B, was it B? Just this question 8B, 7 marks. So if you're unable to do this, it's a dangerous thing to do. Then you come and write the equation. Y equals to 10x minus 40. The equation of the target, the equation of the line. You say y, the second y equals to 10x plus 292 over 27. You get your 7 marks. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's move on. We go to question 9. Question 9 says we should simplify. This is indices. Simplify. Every year you find indices questions. Okay? Always, all these simple ones you should be able to get. Now you can see there's a bracket covering all the number inside. So this power is talking to everything inside. So this 3 is going to be raised to power 3 also. You say 3 to the power of 3. 3 to the power of 3 is not 9. Many students, they make mistake. They write 9. 3 to the power of 3 means 3 times 3 times 3. 3 in 3 places. 3 times 3. 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27. Okay? Some students, they forget. You know, they just see 3 to the power of 3, they write 9. If you forget, you have to do the numerical multiplication. Then you say this one, x to the power of 2, and then times this power. X to the power of 2 times the power outside, because this power outside is talking to everything inside the bracket, times this power 3 that is outside, because we are expanding this now. Then the next one is y to the power of 4 times this power also, times this power. So we now have 3 to the power of 3, we have 27. X to the power of 2 times 3, you have x to the power of 6. Here you have 4 times 3, you have 12, y to the power of 12. So that's that. For this you get 2 marks if you're able to do this. You get 2 marks for being able to do this. Is that okay? Now we go to the next question for indices, which is 3 marks. So you see, now only these 2, you get 5 marks. So if you're unable to do this one, you lose a lot. So you have 16 over x to the power of 16, y to the power of 8, everything raised to the power minus 3 over 2. Now you see what we do, we write, there's something we just did. I flip this one because this one raised to the power minus. If I want to raise to the power of minus, if I want to remove this minus from here, I will just flip what is inside here, because you know what it means? It means 1 over 16. It means 1 all over 16 all over x to the power of 16, 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 y to the power of 8. So y to the power of 8. Before you now, a 3 level becomes a 3 level because of this minus. Because of this minus. Anything raised to power minus, it means 1 all over. It means 1 all over. Before you write 3 over 2. Before you write 3 over 2. So this 1 all over, if you simplify this, you will see that this one will come up, this 60 will come down. Because if this negative will make this one to be up, this 60 to be down, for this negative to be out. Okay, now you get this. Now you use this power to deal with everything inside. So this one becomes x to the power of 16 times 3 over 2, times this one outside 3 over 2. Y to the power of 8 times, also times this 3 over 2, all over. Now 16, you find the cube, the power at the bottom is the root. So 6 is 2, means square root. If it's 3, means cube root. If it's 4, means fourth root. And then you raise it to the numerator. You raise it to 3. So then we simplify this one. 2 going to 16, we get 8. 8 times 3, we get 24. So we're going to have x to the power of 24. For y, 2 going to 8, we get 4. 4 times 3, we get 12. So we're going to have y to the power of 12. Now for this one, what is the square root of 16? We get 4. 4 to the power of 3. 4 to the power of 3, we get 64. That's why the final answer is x to the power of 24, y to the power of 12, all over 64. Is that okay? If you're able to do that, you get another 3 marks. Now let's go to the B part of this question 9. The B part says we should just factorize this. Now they normally do this one to you, and many students don't know this is difference of 2 squared. This is difference of 2 squared. So you say, oh, how will I factorize this? There's nothing common between this and this. There's no x here. So how do I factorize this? Remember, you look very well, difference of 2 squared. When you have 2 numbers that are square and there's a minus between them, it's called difference of 2 squared. So you rewrite it, you break it down, you say x to the power of 2, and 9 means 3 to the power of 2. So once you have this type of factorization, we call it difference of 2 squared. So what you don't need to do anything, just say s minus 3 in one bracket, s plus 3 in another bracket. Once you have difference of 2 squared, you just say x minus 3 in one bracket and s plus 3 in another bracket. That's it. Because to them it's easy, they just made it 1 mark. But it's worth 2 marks. It's worth 2 marks. So the Roman figure 2, B Roman figure 2, says simplify. They still put the difference of 2 squared in the numerator. And then they over this 2xy minus 6y plus 5x minus 15. So you already have the answer to the numerator, right? Which is x minus 3 in one bracket and s plus 3 in another bracket. So I can just write the answer on the numerator. Then I go down. I write this one so I can group them and factorize them. So I write this one, then I group them and factorize the denominator. Okay? I group them and I factorize them. Now I find what is common between them, each of them. I find what is common between them, right? Okay. So write the numerator the way it is, and then you go down. You say what's common between 2xy and 6y. So what's common? 2 is common and y is common. Y is here, y is here. 2 is here as a factor, 2 is here as a factor. So you write 2y out. If you take 2y out, only x remains here. You write the x in the inside the bracket. And if you take 2y out, this one means you don't say, oh, I take 2 out, remaining 4. No, that's not what it means. It's not minus, it's division. It's like you are saying 6 divided by 2, what remains? 3. So only 3, negative 3 is remaining. So you write negative 3 here. Plus, what's common between 5x and 15? It's 5. So you write this plus 5. What remains here? Only x. If you divide negative 15 divided by 5 that you factorize out, you get negative 3. So negative 3 here. Like I told you, this bracket and this bracket must always be same. And once they are same, these 2 brackets always will be same. If they are not same, you made a mistake. You can look through your work again and see where you made a mistake. So once they are same, you write it only once. X minus 3, write it only once because the brackets are same. Remember the numerator, we are just writing it because it's already a factorized form. It's already in its factorized form. Then the denominator, you say x minus 3 in one bracket, you write it x minus 3. The one outside the bracket, 2y plus 5x, you put it together as one bracket. Now you look at the numerator and denominator, there's s minus 3 in the numerator, and there's also s minus 3 in the denominator. So they cancel themselves out. So what is left is x plus 3 in the numerator and 2y plus 5 in the denominator. And you get 3 marks for being able to do. This is algebraic fraction. This is a algebraic fraction. They brought difference of 2 squared with algebraic fraction. Is that okay? So you get 3 marks. And you can watch our video on algebraic fraction with some academy, okay? So you can check our algebraic fraction. We have part 1, part 2, part 3. And you can watch all the parts for algebraic fraction and to refresh your memory in this type of question. Now let's go to the C part of the question. Now the C part of the question says that we should solve this simultaneous equation. Yes, this is the type of simultaneous equation they love to bring now. The simultaneous equation that will lead you to a quadratic equation. So they no longer for Cambridge IGCSE, most of the time they don't bring the ordinary simple simultaneous equation. They bring the one that will lead you at least so that I think the marks sometimes is up to 6. It's up to 6. So it's worth it. It's worth it. So it's up to 6 marks. See, paper 4 has big marks. And if you fail paper 4, it's difficult to pass the exam. It's difficult to pass maths. So please pay attention because this is where the big topics are and so on and so forth. So solve the simultaneous equation. You must show all your working and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, our final answer must be in 2 decimal places. Remember that. Okay, the first thing we do, you say 2x plus y equal to 7. That's the question. 2x plus y equal to 7. I call it equation 1. And this equation 2 is y equal to 5x squared plus 2x minus 13. So you call it equation 2. So what you do, we're going to make equation 3. Okay? Make y the subject to form equation 3. So you say y equal to, you bring this 2x to the right. It becomes 7 minus, because when this one goes to the right, it's going to be negative. it becomes 7 minus 3, you call it equation 3. Why did I do that? So that I can substitute it into equation 2. See? Because equation 3 is y equal to this. So if I make y the subject here, if I make it the subject, I'll be able to replace this y with this 7 minus 2. We'll be able to replace this y, we'll be able to replace it with what? With 7 minus 2x, 7 minus 2x. So you say substitute this one into this equation 3 into equation 2. So that's what we do here. In place of this y, we wrote the value. What's the value of y? 7 minus 2x. So you replace it with y. So this one is y. This 7 minus 2x is simply y. But we replace the y with its value, 7 minus 2x. Then you say equal to what? Equal to this 5x squared plus 2x minus 13, right? So you now have a straight equation of only x. There's no y, only x. So we can now collect like terms and factorize and do whatever we need to do. So I'm going to take everything to the right and then equate it to 0. So I'll say 5x squared plus this 2x. Then this minus 2, I bring it here, it also become plus 2x. This one. So we bring this one also to the right. Minus 2x comes to the right, become plus 2x. Then this minus 30, I write it down. This plus 7, bring it to the right, become minus 7. Then you say equal to 0. Is that okay? So the next step, we add this and this together. You see, we add this and this, 2s plus 2s, we add together. And minus 30 and minus 7, we add together. So 5x squared, you write it, 5x squared. This plus this become 4x. Minus 13, minus 7, you are owing $13. You are owing one person $30, you are owing another person $7. Altogether, you are owing is what? $20. So minus 13 minus 7 equals to minus 20. Everything equal to 0. Now this becomes a quadratic equation. Now, we try to say if factorization can do it, but we found factorization cannot do it because you must use this 5 to multiply 20. If you use 5 to multiply, we get 100. If you break 100 down, you may have it 2,255. So you cannot find 2 factor. When you multiply, you get negative 100, and when you add, you get 4. We're going to find those factors. So we use quadratic formula. So in quadratic formula, this is a. The coefficient of x squared is a. The coefficient of x is b. The coefficient of the constant is c. So you write the formula x equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is the formula. So you must know the formula. You don't remember the formula is a problem. You should remember quadratic formula and any formula that you'll be taught so that you'll be able to do your questions. So we just substitute. The remaining is just to substitute. Say x equals to, you remember you say b is 4. So this minus, we say b is 4. Why did we write minus 4? No, this minus is from the formula. This minus is not the value of b, it's from the formula. This minus is from the formula, but b is just 4. You put 4 here. If b was minus 4, here we would have written another minus again. That would be minus minus. That would be minus minus. Okay, so you say 4 plus minus the square root of b square means 4 square, since b is 4, minus 4, you write this 4 here. This a is what? The value of a is 5. So you say multiply by 5. This bracket means multiplication. Then multiply by c. What's the value of c? C is negative 20. You put negative 20 here. All over 2a. 2 times a is 5. 2 times 5, which is 10. Then you go to the next step. X equal to minus 4 plus minus the square root of, if you square 4 square, you get 16. If you multiply minus 4 times 5, you get minus 20. Minus 20 times another minus 20, you get positive. Minus times minus, you get positive. You get positive 400. All over 10. 2 times 5 is 10. All over 10. Remember, the root is only for the numerator. This square root is only for the numerator. It doesn't cover the denominator. Remember that when you write the root. It doesn't cover the denominator. It's only for the numerator. So we go to the next step. We say minus 4 plus minus. We add this and this together. 16 plus 400. We get 416 all over 10. Root 416 over 10. Now we find this root of 416. So if you find the root, you get 20.4. You get 20.4. So you now have this negative 4 plus minus 20.4 over 10. Here you now split. You say minus 4 plus 20.4 over 10. Then the second one you use minus. First one you use only this plus. Second one you use minus. You say Second one, you say minus 4 minus 20.4 over 10. So when you do that, you add this, you get 16.4. Minus 4 plus 20.4, you get 16.4 over 10. If you divide this by 10, you get 1.64. If you say minus 4 minus 20.4, you get minus 24.4. Divide by 10, you might get minus 2.44. So these are the two values of x. You write them down. The first one is 1.64. You write it here. The second value of x is negative 2.44. Now you get two values of x. You must come and use the equation, the equation 3 that we made to get the two values of y. Remember, we already made y the subject. See, we already made y equal to 7 minus 2x. We already formed equation of y. So we just substitute the value of x here, the two values of x differently, separately, we get the two values of y. So you come here, you say y equal to this 7 minus 2 times the first value of x, which is 1.64. So if you say 2 times 1.64, you get 3.28. So 7 minus 3.28, you get 3.72. Remember, they say we should put in the two decimal places. So you get the second value of y, 3.72. Now we go to the other one. You know, we got another one value of x. You say y equal to 7 minus 2 into the second value of x, which is negative 2.44. So if you multiply with this, negative 2 times negative 2.44, you get positive. It's very clear to note. Negative times negative, you get positive. You get positive 4.88. Okay, when you multiply them. And then 7 plus 4.88, you get 11.88. You get 11.88 as your second value of y. So if you're able to get all this, you get 6 marks. You get 6 marks, which all these marks boost the rate of success of getting a very good grade. Now we go to question 10. Question 10 is mensuration. Question 10 is mensuration. So today, the mensuration question they brought on this paper 2023, May, June, paper 4-2, the question they brought, the mensuration they brought was a cuboid. Okay, a cuboid. You can see the base. It says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Now we start with the first 4. A, B, C, D. It's the first 4, which is the base, the square base of this cuboid. And then E, F, G, H. You have E, F, G, H. The second square that is on top of this box. Okay? It's a cuboid with a square base of side x centimeter. The side of the square base is x centimeter is square. So the base is a square. So whatever value here is the same value here will be. Is that okay? And they are 90 degrees to each other. Now, let's move further. It says CG. CG is 20 centimeters. So let's look at CG in the diagram. C is here. Where's G? Where's our G? Here. It's 20. So we put 20 here. 20 centimeters. We put 20 centimeters here. Okay? CG is 20 centimeters. Then AG is 28 centimeters. Where's AG? Look at A. We go to G. Okay, this diagonal from the bottom right to the top left. Okay? Or the bottom left to the top right. This is a very long diagonal. Okay? So it's 28. It's 28. Now, they've given us all the information to calculate the value of x. Okay, to find x, I have to find I have to join this diagonal of the square base, of the square of the base, you know. You join here to get the diagonal. Now this diagonal with this one, we form a right angle triangle, which is what we brought here. Okay, this very long diagonal that goes from the left bottom to the top right is 28. So this is what it is the hypotenuse. This is angle 90 at this point, and then this vertical side is 20. This vertical side is 20, and this one, this y, which is the diameter or the diagonal of this one is our y. We call it our y. So we have to find it first before we can find x. If we don't find it from these values, we cannot find x. So now this becomes a Pythagoras theorem. We're going to use a Pythagoras theorem here. We're going to use a Pythagoras theorem, which says here square plus here square equal to here square. Now in trigonometry. So you see, we're combining what? We're combining mensuration with trigonometry. Okay, so here square plus here square equal to 28. So y square plus 20 square equal to 28 square. So y square, you move this 20 square to the right. It becomes minus 20 square. So y square is equal to 28 square is 784. 20 squared is 400. So y squared equal to, if you subtract, you get 384. To find y, you have to find the square root. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of this place, square root to cancel square. Okay, square root will cancel square. Square root will cancel. If you take square root of here, and then you take square root of here, square root will cancel square here, so y remains. Y remains. So y equal to the square root of this value, which is 90.6. So we found y. Now you're going to redraw this another right angle triangle, which is this ABC with this diagonal, which is this one. Okay, this is the A. This is the A. This is the B. And this is the C. This is the C. Is that okay? This is the A, this is the B. Here's X. This one is this one. Is this one. Which is X centimeter. A, B, this is also X centimeter, right? And we just found the diagonal to be 90.6. So we'll put the 90.6 here. So to find this one, you say this one square, C same right angle triangle, C same Pythagoras theorem. So we're going to use Pythagoras theorem. We said S square plus this X square equals to 90, the hypotenuse, which is the diagonal of which is this diagonal. Okay, the hypotenuse, which is this diagonal. Which is this diagonal. We say equal to S square plus S square equal to 90.6 square. So S square plus S square is 2S square. Okay, 2S square equals to, you square this value, you get 384. Now we divide both sides by 2. We have to divide both sides by 2 because we have 2S square. So in order to get only S square, we have to divide both sides by 2. So if we divide here by 2, we get only S square left. If we divide here by 2, we get 192.08. So if we say take the square root of both sides so that we can remove this square. So we have X left here. You take square root of here, you get 30.85, which is approximately 30.9 centimeter. This is approximately 30.9 centimeters. So if you're able to do this, if you're able to find X, you get 4 marks. You get what? 4 marks. Now let's go to the B side of the question, the B part of the question. Now again, they've given us another cuboid. The diagram shows a different cuboid. This is a different one, a different cuboid, JKLM. So we look at the first base, JKLM. This is not a square. This is not, the base is not a square, it's a rectangle. JKLM, and then you come here, NPQR, which is the second part on top. Now it says M arrow is 30 centimeter. M arrow, so we have to look for M arrow. Where's our M? M is here. Where's our arrow? Is it M arrow? Yeah, M arrow is 30 centimeter. Where's our arrow? Up. Our arrow is up, so it's 30 centimeter. So we put 30 centimeter here. Okay, this vertical one, we put 30 centimeter. Remember here, okay, we put 30 centimeter. Is that okay? Now we say MR is 30 centimeter, correct to the nearest centimeter. KR is 37. KR, okay, from the right bottom to the top left is a very long diagonal, is 37 centimeter, correct to the nearest centimeter. Now it says calculate. Here it says calculate the lower bound of the angle between KR. Where's our KR? Between KR, this one, between this KR, the lower bound of the angle between KR, this is our KR, this long diagonal, between KR and the base JKLM, and the base JKLM. So this is the whole base, and where you make an angle with KR is to first of all join here. If you join it here, then to make an angle here. So this is the angle theta. This is the angle theta. So they say we should find this angle. Okay, they say we should find this angle. So, but they say we should find, they brought us, despite they're giving us mensuration, they also brought us to lower bound and upper bound in chapter 2. So if you don't remember your lower bound and upper bound, even if you know how to do this, you will still have a counter problem. So I recommend you to go to chapter 2 of Waidusmacademy Academy. It's called accuracy, chapter 2 accuracy. Okay, we solve the upper bound and lower bound, okay, of the video. So you can pause the video, subscribe, like and share, and also go to the upper bound and lower bound in our chapter 2 called accuracy. We titled chapter 2 accuracy. That's where we treated the upper bound and lower bound. Okay, so you can refresh if you forgot how to do the upper bound and lower bound. So if we bring out this triangle, we have 30 on this side, we have 37 on the long side, and this is the angle. Now, if you look at this is a right angle triangle, you still go to use trigonometry. But each value, I have to do the upper bound of the value and the lower bound of the value. For 30, you say x is less than 30.5 for the upper bound and greater than or equal to 29.5 for the lower bound. For 37, you say x is less than 37.5 and greater than or equal to 36.5 as the lower bound. Now, if you look at trigonometry, this is opposite the angle. This is opposite, this is the hypotenuse. Opposite of hypotenuse is SOHCAHTOA, this is so. So, this is so. In SOHCAHTOA, you're going to use the sign. Sign is opposite of hypotenuse. Anytime you have opposite of hypotenuse, in trigonometry, you're going to use sign. Sign, this S means sign. O is opposite, and this is hypotenuse in SOHCAHTOA. So you're going to use the so. You know SOHCAHTOA, we go to in trigonometry. Okay, you can also refer to our video on trigonometry so that you know exactly how to do this one. Is that okay? You can pause if you don't know how to do. You can pause and refresh from our video on trigonometry, and learn or revise how to do before you continue this video. Now let's go to this. So you say that sine theta is opposite of hypotenuse, which is 30. Normally it's supposed to be 30 over 37. But that's not the value you're going to use, because if we use this value, we're going to get it wrong. If we use that value, we're going to what? We're going to get it wrong. If we use the 30, because they say find the lower bound of the angle. So if you're looking for lower bound, you know in lower bound, because it's a division, because this number is a division, you use the lower of the lower for the numerator. You use the lower value of the denominator divided by the upper value of the lower value of the numerator divided by the upper value of the denominator, divided by the upper, so that you can get the most lower. In order to get the most lower, you have to use the lower of the numerator divided by the upper of the denominator. Okay, so meaning you go to say 29.5 divided by 37.5. So sine theta is equals to 0.78667. Sine theta equals to 0.78667. The theta equals to the sine inverse of this value. When you press the sine inverse, to press sine inverse, press second functions in your calculator or shift in your calculator before you press sine. So it will change this value to 51.87, which approximately 51.9 degree. So you get 51.9 degree and you will be good for this question. Okay, I think this is the end of our today's class. So with this, we come to the end of this paper, and thank you for joining us.